Hi, this is Alan, and a brief introductory video for my premier distributor friends and industry peers that have been asking me, so Alan, what are you up to now in your new business? And how might the services that you're offering help me excel in my business? So hopefully the next few minutes will attempt to answer that. And if anybody's clicked on this and not familiar with me and my background, just look at my LinkedIn profile and that will bring you up to speed. Here we go. The easiest way for me to answer that question is to focus in on 5 areas of opportunity. And I've designed these 5 areas because not only they're relevant to my background and my experience and my history, they're also aligned with the third-party resources that are helping me work with and empower premier distributors to excel in each of these areas. And so it makes sense for me to start with the end in mind, since that's the objective for many of you, is how to build and maximize the value in your business and prepare for its succession and transition. And quite frankly, this is an area that I have a lot of discussions with premier distributors, in an area that I enjoy the most, and an area that makes sense to discuss in many cases initially, because the more that a business can excel and improve its cash flow and position its business to not only increase the value and the ability and the income to take out along the way, it also assists in positioning it for the options of succession, whether those succession is internally within your family or immediate key people within your distributorship, or whether you're one of the people that is looking to, have eyeballs on you as more professional money comes into this industry and consolidating the distributor side. Perhaps the most obvious area of opportunity and desire for all premier distributors is growth. And I think growth comes in the form of more customers, selling customers more value-added products and services, expanding and recruiting the sales team, and in some cases even acquiring competitive distributors, like doing tuck-in acquisitions. And my Engage and Excel is designed to assist in all of those areas. To give a little bit more detail, in the expanded product lines and services, not only is my business focused in on the promotional products industry and those sets of services we've all come to know associated with that, but also the print distribution industry of all print and packaging and digital printing, and also the incentive recognition, which I'll touch on in the next slide. So if any of those areas of selling customers more stuff, building your sales force, and acquiring the competition, those are areas that both myself and the resources I'm aligned with are very much in the business of potentially helping you. The next area, engagement, recognition, rewards, I'm purposely carving out on its own. One, because of its size. I think many of you are familiar with the incentive marketing industry that claims it's twice the size of the promotional products industry. Maybe there's a little overlap in there, but regardless. But more importantly, as you know, from if you're personally involved and or your sales teams, the biggest initiative within major and upper middle market corporations is their focus in on human performance, engagement, rewards, and recognition. And not only from a product standpoint, but even more importantly from an engagement and the ability to measure that and its impact on performance and retention of employees and so on. And I've had quite extensive experience in this over the last couple of years, and what I've learned is that there's different business models out there. And so part of the third parties that I'm associated with go all the way from the more sophisticated distributors that want the infrastructure to become a top-tier reseller of the world's leading platform in this arena. That's available. All the way down to, if you're intrigued about it, struggling to have time to learn, and the investment to put the infrastructure in place, but want to be able to introduce those solutions to your clients, then there's business models out there that can bring qualified strategic partners to the table that can assist with that, and quite frankly, you can more or less get out of the way and make an ongoing override commission for the length of the account, and a few business models in between. So this is an area of a lot of excitement and a lot of opportunity, and I look forward to working with those intrigued with this. I'm going to join together the fourth and fifth area of opportunity, overhead and operating technology, into one, partly because they're both massive subjects, individually, let alone collectively. And if we let it, as sales organizations, it can take over our lives and our business and distract from our primary focus of adding value to the supply chain and building a sales organization. So the only thing I'm going to say here is that, you know, I'm kind of looking at that logo in the upper corner, the old life and the new life. I think the biggest decision we have as individual owners is, do we want to do that ourselves and continue to invest the time and the money and the learning curve, which is almost impossible. It is completely impossible to do ourselves. Or do we want to know about the different alternatives of tapping into more mature infrastructure and be in a position where we can literally cut our overhead in half and have it as a variable expense, meaning that it's tied into our sales performance and our operating cash flow each month, versus ever being in the position where our fixed overhead is ahead of the cash flow that we have coming in. And I know many of you, your heads may be leading down the path of Proforma, which is one of the third-party resources that I'm aligned with that does this, and I'm working with Greg Mazzillo on an option to present a service bureau offering to large premier distributors, specifically with this hand in mind. But there's other options out there as well. And so I see that this is not only an important topic because it's part of running a profitable business, as part of building cash flow, as part of increasing the value of the business and the eventual succession, and as part of freeing up time for the second and the third segment. This is a topic that I'm quite passionate about, and a topic that I know will come up if and when I talk to you. Well, we're wrapping up here, and first of all, thanks for taking the time to listen here, and for those of you that requested this kind of an update, hopefully it answered your question. So in going here, I'm just going to share with you different ways, if you'd like to, that we can stay in touch. Obviously, my number one priority is to work individually with people that are interested in learning and sharing, because, you know, taking these concepts of opportunities and turning them into validated and executable opportunities requires one-on-one and confidentiality and learning and sharing. In some cases, that will involve engaging third-party resources. So, for instance, I was in Cleveland, Ohio, day before yesterday, and brought in a group of people that are with a very large organization and we're developing a strategic relationship to leverage the infrastructure of $500 million of sales of Proforma to help them grow and expand their product lines and so on. Also working individually with one of my contacts that has a major client that was inquiring about some sophisticated needs in the areas human performance and engagement. So I've engaged one of my third-party alliances, Power to Motivate, and we're working on a project there to give you kind of two examples. Also, in due time here, I plan on forming a little bit of a mastermind group where there might be specific topics in each of those 5 areas where there's people that want to learn and share far outside of me, and maybe even outside of the third-party resources that I'm aligned with. So I want to help coordinate and facilitate a little bit of that. And then finally, for those of you that want to, I'm going to continue to offer different types of ways of just informing people that want to stay abreast of different things in each of these topics. So there's going to be various articles and ebooks, and I'll be doing some interviews on video and even some web education with some third-party resources that I'll just stay in tune with people. And lastly, I'm not here to share this information with anybody that doesn't want to receive it. So at any and all times, I'll be politely asking for people to opt in or opt out, and I'm fine with that. But certainly part of what I'm looking at doing and part of what I'm training myself for is to get into the new world of digital marketing and to take a lot of this information and to scale it and to inform and educate a lot of people, and so that these topics can be around and top of mind for if and when they're relevant to specific things going on in each people's business. So anyways, thanks for your time and good luck in your business.